So this is a World of Warcraft review published on 2008, and it was posted up a long time ago too. All right, so here we go. As you can see, it's a very old video because of the aspect ratio. This is from over 10 years ago. Because this is just the upload date, and this is re-uploaded. Keep that in mind. Have a nice day. Asmongold, Verity, thank you very much for the $10. Thank you, man. Give McConnell his share. McConnell, queer. Thank you very much for the $5. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Huh?
Massively multiplayer online role-playing games have been around for years now, but it's taken this long for the genre's breakthrough hit to finally emerge. But World of Warcraft is indeed that game. This is just an incredible accomplishment and an incredibly fun game above all else.
So he's playing
it's
a girl
filled
character.
With basically everything that's ever been great about the massively multiplayer online RPG genre, and it delivers a lot of new stuff as well, and just fills you with a sense of wonder as you explore the game's incredibly huge and beautiful world. It's just a one-of-a-kind experience, and it's something that's recommendable to pretty much everyone. So regardless of what you may think of this style of gaming, this is the sort of game that you owe it to yourself to check out. It's just really a mind-blowing and staggering, and makes you glad that you are someone who plays games and feel sorry for people who don't.
That's true.
One of the most striking things about World of Warcraft is that the game takes place in this incredibly huge and seamless world.
Oh my god.
There aren't any real loading times here at all, and in fact, just getting from your desktop and into the game is a process that just takes seconds. Basically, you can run around through the world and watch as the scenery changes, as the weather changes, as the lighting changes. All this stuff just happens all around you, and the whole thing just feels so cohesive and is so rich with detail that you really do feel like you're in this other place. One of the great things about World of Warcraft is that it's highly approachable. It's just very easy to get into, and so easy, in fact, that it doesn't even have any kind of tutorial. You don't need one. You just kind of take a look at the interface on the screen, and you sort of intuitively get what's going on. You figure out how to run around, use your abilities, and suddenly you feel like you're an old pro at this stuff and don't feel like you have that much to learn, even though there's incredible depth and complexity waiting for you here. Another one of the surprises is that World of Warcraft is really just an action-packed game. It's not kind of action-packed, weighted down with the slow pacing that you'd expect from an online RPG. It's not weighted down by a lot of the boring downtimes and just the sense of a grind that you're doing the same thing over and over and over just for small gains. So instead, you have this fast-paced combat which almost feels more like an action game. It's definitely much more reminiscent of something like Warcraft 3 or Diablo 2 than it is of other online RPGs. It's very action-oriented, and yet it strikes a perfect balance in that it's not so hectic that it's unmanageable. Another great thing is that regardless of which type of character you play, you can really hold your own against monsters, or of course you can greatly contribute to player groups and choose to play with others or alone. So any way you choose to go, whether you want to play this game for a half an hour at a time or for 8 hours at a time, basically World of Warcraft is going to give you a good, exciting experience.
That's right.
The sheer variety of this game is another one of its really outstanding qualities. Depending on which type of character you play, you'll start out in totally different environments. And of course, you'll also have totally different things to fight, totally different quests to undertake, and so forth. The game's 8 different races are split up into 2 factions, the Horde and the Alliance, and basically these 2 factions result in pretty much completely different gameplay experiences. So if you only play as one side or the other, you'll pretty much not get to see most of the other half of the game, or at least you won't be able to see it from a friendly standpoint. At any rate, regardless of which race you pick, you'll be in for a very different feel and just still be filled with the sense of majesty and awe that this world evokes. Beyond that, though, the game's got some clever and subtle innovations, and these are things that really distinguish it and put it in a totally different league than other online RPGs. One of the great things here is that when you die, and death is an inevitability in all these games, it's really not that big of a deal. All other online RPGs make death a really bad thing because dying should be bad, right? Well, in World of Warcraft, pretty much all that happens is you sit out for a bit. You respawn back at a graveyard, and you run and get your corpse, and you respawn. You don't lose experience points. You don't lose your items or any of that stuff. So you're encouraged to kind of go out there and take risks and so forth, because the worst that should happen is that, you know, you'll be out for a couple of minutes. There's also the rest system, which is a great way for this game to basically appeal to people who can't commit to playing this game for many, many hours at a time. All it does is it gives you a little experience bonus if you don't play for a while. So if you make your character rest at an inn or something, when you log off and you come back to it after a day, you'll get double the experience from killing monsters for a little bit. So what this does is it puts a little wind at your back as you go about leveling up and so forth, and it lets you catch up to some of your friends who maybe play more than you do, and it gives you a reason to keep coming back, and also makes you not feel bad about taking a break from the game. It's really a subtle and brilliant system. Also, if all the questing and combat isn't necessarily your suit, or if you want to take a break from it, there's the profession system. So you can gather herbs and things, or mine for ore, and kind of skin animals for leather and stuff like that.
Back in 2004, this is a big deal.
These things into alchemical potions or different armor and weapons and so forth. The great thing about this system is that, like the rest of the game, it's easy to get into, and it's instantly gratifying. Pretty much right off the bat, you're making stuff that's immediately useful either to you or your friends, and you can send stuff off to your friends via the game's cool in-game postal service, which is one of the great little touches. It's what helps give this game personality, because it's sort of this fantasy setting, kind of like Tolkien and all that, but at the same time it's got these modern touches like subways and rifles and so forth. So the world of the game really has its own personality.
In-game friends.
Always brought to life through the incredible art direction and the amazing audio that you'll hear as you explore around and just go about your business. World of Warcraft also has a player versus player combat system, which on most of the game's realms or servers is purely consensual. So if you don't want to get jacked by other players, you could just avoid the PvP combat and things will be fine. However, you can opt to duel any player, basically down to the last hit point, and you can also engage in Horde versus Alliance sort of PvP gang warfare or all-out battles. The game's PvP combat, like the rest of the combat, is actually a lot of fun, since the different character classes have a considerable amount of depth, and there's a lot of variety just in how you balance classes and how you engage the foe and so forth. So it's really tactical and pretty fun. But there's a lot of potential here too. It's clear that World of Warcraft was designed primarily with the player versus environment experience in mind, but there are the building blocks here for a really exciting player versus player game too. And it's something that's probably going to keep high-level players coming back for much longer after they've, you know, already maxed out their characters and all that stuff, which is going to take them hundreds of hours. All this game's various accomplishments from a technical standpoint, from an artistic standpoint, from a design standpoint, they all collaborate to make this game just fun. That's the bottom line.
I remember killing these guys.
This, you know, weirdly ambitious game that's trying to do all this crazy stuff. It's this game that's trying to entertain you, and it really does. I mean, it's a game that should appeal to pretty much any gamer on any level, because it has much of the essence of what makes games fun: the sense of competition, the sense of accomplishment and reward, the sense of awe that you can get from experiencing sort of a new environment for the first time, or something like that. I mean, it's really just a dramatic and one-of-a-kind game. So even if you've already made up your mind about how you think of online RPGs, you really owe it to yourself to give this game a try.
See, you shoot him, then you get him in melee, you hit him.
It's probably something that, if nothing else, you will absolutely appreciate having had the chance to play.
9.5. It's a good game. That's kind of crazy.
It was a good game.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Greg.
Hello.
Thanks for coming back here.
Of course. Yeah.
In the first of our 10 videos celebrating experience of World of Warcraft, talk to Supergiant. Wait, this is the same guy 10 years later? Oh my god. Alright, I want to see this.
Good to be back.
Well, he looks good.
I mean, like you couldn't.
Looks like he quit.
For the
WoW.
folks who don't know, who are you? What do you do now, and what did you do before?
Well, I'm Greg Kasavin. I work at a studio called Supergiant Games. We're a small independent studio just a few blocks away from here in San Francisco, and we've made 2 games so far called Bastion and Transistor, which thankfully have done well enough for us to still be in existence. And prior to that, I worked here at Gamespot.
That was whenever he had the hair.
First real job, and I was editor-in-chief back then, but I started as an intern and worked here for 10 years or so. And as part of that, I got to review a lot of really good games and occasionally some not so good games as well. And one of the really, really good games was World of Warcraft. Massively multiplayer online role-playing games have been around for years now, but it's taken this long
So that
for
was
the genre's breakthrough hit to finally emerge.
That was fucking
But
10
World of
years
Warcraft
ago,
is
dude.
indeed that game. This is
He's
just
the
an
same
incredible
guy.
accomplishment and
That's
an
actually
incredibly
crazy.
fun game above all else. It's filled with
I think a lot of
There he
the
is.
like most remarkable qualities about that game were relatively subtle technical details. They were things like how it didn't take like 2 minutes or whatever to start playing the game. You just like
The loading
double
screen.
click the icon, type in your password, and you're in, at least after the first month, once they got the server stuff sorted. So it was just fast. And once you were in, the whole world was seamless. And that blew me away. Things like EverQuest, they were all like very kind of zone-based, so they were just these big maps
This game
with big
sucked.
long loading times in between the maps. And when the goal of an MMO is to kind of immerse you in the world, at least that's part of the goal. The
He's got his
difference
mount in his
between
bags.
kind of a collection of maps with exit points and load times and this impression of a big seamless
There's the old
world
map.
is just a night and day difference. It
Oh my
really
God.
delivered on just this kind of fully realized seamless world, and also where the combat itself, which was like the core of the gameplay, was actually just fun to do both solo and in groups.
So before
Yeah, dude.
you reviewed it, you actually ended up doing an exclusive for GameSpot.
Yeah, we GameSpot had the world exclusive like first preview of World of Warcraft. This was years
Damn,
before
so that shit was like
it came out,
2003.
as
2002.
has sometimes been the case for Blizzard games. So we spent the day with them
Wow.
seeing what they had there. They showed the kind of seamless environment. They showed the art style and the character design and everything. And they, you know, again at that point I was talking a lot with them about like EverQuest and stuff like that and what they were taking from it.
Was there any sense back then that this was going to be a game that was going to have the longevity?
I think that was totally unimaginable. Like the level of success it achieved, they could not have possibly anticipated. I think for sure though, the game immediately came across as like the most ambitious thing that Blizzard had thus far set out to do. I think they were very much ambitious with it, while at the same time having that kind of patented Blizzard pragmatism.
And when you reviewed it, could you ever have thought that it was going to last the test of time that it has?
You know,
He was excited.
World of
Look at
Warcraft is in my 10 years of reviewing games at GameSpot, it's one of the highest ratings I ever gave out. I for sure had a sense that this is a revelatory game in its genre. This is a big deal. To what that meant exactly, you know, surely I didn't anticipate like being here talking about it 10 years later. But yeah, I mean, that level of success, you know, peaked at what, like 12 million or more.
I wonder if he still
EverQuest
plays.
was only, which was seen as a huge hit, was something like less than 500,000 subscribers. As a massive hit,
Yeah.
that was like what the success
Look at
criteria
this
was.
terrible game,
You know,
dude.
Blizzard had launched big online games before and had gone through some of those woes before, like with Diablo 2 and stuff. So they knew going in that there was going to be a lot of demand, and they, you know, and they thought they had like, I think it was something like they thought they had like 3 times as much sort of capacity as they needed, and then it was just nowhere near enough. So they had to scramble for a while, but
Yeah.
obviously, you know, people ended up being forgiving of that initial rough patch.
Remember all those like 2-day and 3-day credits they would give you?
Yep.
Dude, those are the fucking days, dude. Yo, let me read the comments on here. I want to see what people say. I sure miss the old WoW Whenever you saw a guy wearing epics, you knew he had a shit bucket under him. I didn't even know what he was saying for a second. Okay, and that was from 4 years ago too. I wonder if this guy still plays. That's the one thing I wonder is like all these people. Like I wonder if they still play WoW. You know. Can't begin to show how much miss this feeling. I haven't ever played the game these days. I'll never have that again. Yeah, epics were epics. Blizzard just announced legacy servers, boys. Crack a cold one. From 2 years. Thank you, Nostalrius. Lots of potential here too. Understatement of the century. Let's see. Is there another? Still incredible and fun to play from 4 years ago. Too bad WoW IS shit nowadays. And Blizz, in all their wisdom, refuses to start rollback servers. I am sure their subs would skyrocket if they did.
True.
Damn. Wait, wrong. Wait, this isn't the wrong video. Like, what do you mean? This is the right video. Like, shut the fuck up. Okay. Let's see. And it's coming back. Okay. Damn that clicking skill. If only they knew. Yeah, this is crazy, man. I remember this vid. LOL, so old. Okay. So, like, this is... Do you remember this, man? Like, just a random... A random guy just sitting there talking about video games, right? It's not a bunch of...
I remember this one and Morgan Webb and Adam Sessler reviewing it as well. And I remember G4 TV had like...
I remember Morgan Webb was hot, right?
She was super hot,
Okay,
dude.
Is it on YouTube?
Yes.
Just a second.
She was super hot. Yeah,
What was it called? Is it
XPlay.
G4, right? XPlay.
Yeah, XPlay.
XPlay WoW review. Okay. Let's see. XPlay back in the day. Okay, this is a 3-minute video. Let me just look at this one real quick. Okay. Let me stop moving so I don't get too far ahead. Okay, XPlay preview of World of Warcraft.
Advertising right there. Don't sit here.
I won't. Thanks.
Yeah.
Welcome back to XPlay. And we're back with the moment you've all been
used to
waiting
watch
for.
this.
Yes, it's the first
I know, me
online
too.
RPG set in the popular Warcraft universe.
Up until now, Warcraft has been a highly successful real-time strategy series. Now all of that is about to change.
For the first time ever, Warcraft will be a massively multiplayer online RPG. And guess who got to take the beta version for a test drive? Me. Here's our preview of World of Warcraft.
There it is, dude.
All right, let's
This is
start out
beta
with my
WoW.
warlock. He's named Tully. Why? Well, Ferdinand
Is
was
him
taken.
Tally?
World of Warcraft doesn't dawdle. From the beginning, the quest proved to be bountiful. See, anyone with an exclamation mark over their head, well, they can't take care of themselves. The quests also have shown a good deal of variety, from delivering items
I'm overburdened.
to having to sever someone's head as proof of their execution. Combat is a fast-paced and frequent affair. It's also really easy to do. You can store your favorite attacks on this bar. Just select an object at your contempt, and then your death-giving technique, voila! You'll find yourself performing attacks faster than you think, but this isn't
Faster
some
than
wild
you
point and
think,
click
dude.
fest. You really need to use strategy through attacks that cause residual damage or inhibit your enemy's ability to attack you. Tully's restricted both by
This
the
was
need
on
for some
TV.
attacks to recharge and the need to replenish the magic juice it expends. It all seems
Magic
balanced
juice.
just right to keep things frenetic. Now, Tully here is not too quick with melee attacks, so I'm gonna hide behind my avatar of an older blonde thinning hair type to make a friend.
Make a what?
And things become much, much easier to handle once you party
A
out.
what?
There's a lot of danger to be found in Azeroth. Why not spread the risk? But that's not to say you can't enjoy yourself all by yourself. This is Doofer. He's a dwarf. What? Timney was taken. He's a warrior and can handle himself pretty well in sword-on-creature
Look at his
action.
clicking his
He's quite the
abilities.
opposite of the warlock. Instead of
Clicking
good old
charge.
mana regulating his attacks, he has rage. Eat more
So charge
rage.
was what, a
Thanks,
blink then?
Doofer. The rage builds during combat and opens up some nasty little eviscerating maneuvers.
Oh,
I
like
love
Rend.
that sound.
The
Like
amazing
ripe
ability.
cantaloupe. What's most surprising is how much time I like to spend just exploring in World of Warcraft. The game is a visual treat. While it is a fantasy setting, the stylized art and character design give it considerably more character than your typical Frank Frazetta cavalcade of stars. In addition,
That's
you're
where it
not
was at,
stuck
dude.
beating up on tiny creatures for hours before it gets fun. I was walloping an
Look at our
abominable
Yetis.
snowman in my first sitting.
Need more range. Target is out of range.
What's most impressive is that this is only the beta test. The game is already showing more polish than most completed games. I cannot wait to get my gnome on when World of Warcraft released.
Summer of 2004, man.
I never have enough rage. World of Warcraft is looking very good,
Some
and we
things
will of
never
course give you
change.
the full review when it finally comes out.
And until then, there's viewer mail.
Wow, what a
So look at this. I wanted to show you guys something real quick. So where is it? So this fat guy right here, this was before they actually made all the models the same. And they had the original beta models in the game. This is like some big fat guy. This is somewhere in Stormwind here. So this is actually like a really, really, really long time ago. That's crazy though. Yeah, these are the Culturon guys. Wait, no. You're right. We've actually come full circle.